Hi, everyone. Welcome to Planoly Presents. This is our final week of this series, and we're so excited. Today's workshop is called It's Reels Easy. It's all about using Planoly's Reels Planner, and we are super excited to have Phoebe Sherman, CEO of Girl Gang Craft, with us today as our featured speaker. I'm Danielle. I'm the social media manager at Planoly. And we are a social marketing platform that helps you visually plan and schedule your social content. We started on Instagram, and now we've expanded to help businesses and entrepreneurs simplify social marketing on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest too. Our Reels Planner is the latest and greatest tool from our team at Planoly, and it makes planning and scheduling your Reels easier than ever. You can upload your video content to Instagram Planner. You can choose a cover photo, you can plan and organize your reels on your grid, and you can schedule a reminder notification to remind you to post. So we'll take a deeper dive into that a little later, but I have some housekeeping things that y'all should be keeping note of. We love having you guys connect and share your Instagram handles in the Facebook group so that we can keep our chat box clear for panel commentary. So there is a space to do that and to share your handles and to kind of support each other. And that's going to be our Facebook group. Also, during or after the workshop, please feel free to share on Instagram and tag us. We are doing a giveaway right now, and you will have a chance to win a Y2K pack filled with stickers, disposable camera, and more. So there's some fun stuff in there. And then we're also excited to be able to offer any new users one free month of Planoly. And Peyton from our social team is going to be dropping that code into the chat for you. I believe it's Reels Resolutions. So try us out. If you have any questions during this workshop, please make sure to add them in the Q&A box. It's at the bottom of your screen next to the share screen button. So we will get to those at the end in our Q&A portion. And to kick things off, we're going to talk some strategy with today's speaker, Phoebe Sherman. As I said before, Phoebe is the founder and CEO of Girl Gang Craft, which is a community for creators and entrepreneurs. Girl Gang Craft hosts craft fairs, workshops, events, and has a whole ton of resources for small businesses. They also have a podcast. They offer courses, so make sure to check them out after the workshop, and join me in welcoming Phoebe.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Phoebe, and I'll hop into our presentation, but I just want to say I love Planoly. Thank you so much for having me. I've been using Planoly for, I don't know, maybe since the beginning of any sort of business I had, and I'll talk a little bit about that, but once upon a time, I was making really bad jewelry years ago, and I think I started with Planoly then, so excited to be here. It's kind of full circle. And I'll just hop right in. Yay, thank you so much, Danielle. And my headphones are gone. I have kind of noisy neighbors upstairs, and I was like, maybe I'll do it without the headphones, but I don't know, they're like it's more than vacuuming up there.
Yeah.
You never know. Okay, so I'll hop right into my presentation. Give me a second, I'll share my screen. And I'm pretty good about like keeping an eye on the chat room too. So feel free to ask questions, and we will get to them at the end. But if something's like super pertinent to what I'm talking about in that moment, I'll hop right into it.
Amazing.
Okay.
Oh, and just so sorry to interrupt you really quick. For everyone asking, this is being recorded. So this workshop and the previous ones in this series will be emailed to you, and they're also available on our website.
Yay. Okay, so this is me. I'm Phoebe. These are all my social handles here at the bottom if you want to hop on and follow me before the presentation or after the presentation, just to sort of see what I'm all about. I'm fairly new on TikTok, and we'll talk a little bit about TikTok as well in this presentation and how I use that in my content flow. So yeah, Danielle told you all a little bit about Girl Gang Craft, but basically I started a feminist clothing line in 2016 around the 2016 election. And I was starting to sell my feminist apparel around the Bay Area. I'm from Bay Area, California. Now I live in Salem, Massachusetts, fairly recently. And I was trying to find places to sell my work and finding that a lot of these craft fairs are really expensive to participate in and exclusive. I wasn't always getting in. Some of these craft fairs are like, $800 a weekend. And as a beginning maker, a beginning designer, artist, I didn't have the funds for that. So I started my own craft fair. My friends had a cafe in Oakland, and I gathered 15 of my maker friends in that cafe. And that was the first Girl Gang Craft. Since then, we've expanded. We've had multiple craft fairs all over California, actually. And now instead of a small cafe, we're in a huge venue with 120 makers. So we've expanded. And then, of course, during the pandemic, we did not have craft fairs. So we had to get creative, and we did our infamous pivot that everyone did, and we really got our infrastructure online. So we offered, opportunities for creatives to sell on our platform, and also education for creatives. So we do have a big maker community, but we also work with a lot of service-based industries such as healers or trainers or witches or biz coaches. So very inclusive community, femme focused, and we have a membership, and we have a podcast and courses and all sorts of fun things. And this year we're bringing our craft fair to Salem, Massachusetts. So super excited for that. Anyways, I'm a marketing geek at heart. Somehow along this path, I got really involved in how social media works and find it a really fun practice. So this sort of has become my current art practice as well. So today we'll be covering how to brainstorm a bunch of content ideas, because I find that is the thing that most creatives are stuck on. Like, what do I post about? Right? So we're going to talk about that. How to batch your Reels content. This is like my number one tip to be successful on social media, being consistent and building it into your schedule in a way that makes sense for you. And then we'll talk about TikTok to Instagram flow, because that is top of mind, right? How to repurpose your content across all these platforms. Okay, so we're going to start with what is a content pillar. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard this term before. I also call it content bucket or content category. And content pillars are 3 to 5 topics your brand will consistently talk about on social media. So you can always find this by putting together your interests or the areas where you serve your audience. So thinking about giving more information to your audience and making your page an educational or inspirational hub. You want people to come to your page, not just for your product or offer, but for inspiration or education, okay? And I think there's value, especially as a service-based business. I'm also really curious about how many of you are product-based businesses and service-based businesses. So maybe put that in the chat. Maybe even mention what you offer in your business. You don't need to give your handle, right? But I'm curious who has product-based businesses and who has service-based. So I'll give this example. This is kind of a silly example. I have a friend who's a yoga teacher, and she has a bunny. And so she's put these 2 interests together in a way that's really unique. I mean, how many other yoga teachers do you see doing yoga with their bunny? Anyway, so I think it's a really cool way to become more than your product, more than your offer, round out your brand in a way that makes you stand out and is unique. And offers, again, value just on your page, not just your product, but value on your page. Okay, so another example, a bikini designer. Let's take a bikini designer who loves sustainability and makes products out of recycled materials. So put these 2 passions together. Your content pillars could include, product posts, environmental activism, wellness, community highlights, right? Maybe you feature other activists, maybe you feature activists who are wearing your bikini, etc. Okay, so what's a topic then? So this is a subcategory of your content pillars. So these are specific things you can post about within each pillar. So each content pillar can break down into multiple topics. For instance, environmental activism, recycling, alternatives to single-use plastic, consequences of too much plastic, composting, revealing the consequences of fast fashion, right? Each of these topics, each of these content pillars can break down into topics, and that's going to give you sort of the meat of what you're posting about. And then we'll even, so these topics can even become your content calendar. And I'm not saying that you have to like really stick yourself into this strict of a calendar, but also you can if you want to, and if this helps you, right? This consistency, building this sort of discipline into your posting can actually be helpful. It can also be hindering depending on the person, right? But you can have product photos on Monday, you can have archival surf photos on Tuesday, environmental facts on Wednesday, environmental tips on Thursday, smoothie recipes, maybe Saturday you take that posting break, and then Sunday you just spotlight on environmental activists. Okay, so then you're gonna break this down even further, right? With creating the content. So you can take each of these topics and turn them into 3 to 5 pieces of content. So let's continue with the sustainable swim brand, right? So content. So the topic is recycling, right? Okay. And then your content could be 3 recycling myths, ways to reuse your single-use containers, how to make your food last longer in the fridge. And I took this example, who does a really good job of this? Blue Land. I would check them out. They're a sustainable cleaning company, and they have like the little pellets that you put in the glass jars, right? The spray jars. But they've been really interesting lately because they're doing a great job with their social media, because they become a hub for sustainability, right? They did a bunch of posts about like how to keep your vegetables long lasting in the fridge, things like that. And so like I actually don't use Blue Land. Blue Land is the company. I'll type that in here. And what was I saying? So like I turned to them as a hub, right, for information on sustainability, for reusing my single-use plastics, etc. And then, the idea is if I'm using them as a hub and I keep on coming back to their page, that, okay, I guess I'm going to buy their product, right? So even though these pieces of content may not directly link to your product, right, this is a great way to become a leading expert in the field and become a hub of info that your customer continues to return to. And for both product-based businesses and service-based businesses, you may not want to become the face of your brand, and that's sort of a different discussion, but there is value in becoming an expert in your field, right? And as there's a lot of imposter syndrome, right? In this, where maybe we don't feel like we can be an expert in our field, right? But fake it till you make it, keep showing up, keep on adding value. You do have value to add. And I'm seeing in the chat too that I'm going fast. I'm sorry, I'll slow down a little bit, but I have a worksheet for you for all this. So don't even worry. I'm giving you have an opportunity to have a really cool worksheet that has all of this. So anyways, so I was saying, presenting yourself as an expert in your field can be really important, right? To become this informational hub where people turn to you. Okay, and then we're going to break this down even further. Educate, entertain, inspire. This is what you want your content to have you want your content to have an impact on your community, right? You want to educate them, you want to entertain them, you want to inspire them, and this is what is going to be quality content. So all of these things can be broken down into pieces of content that educates, entertains, inspires. And then even more, if you want to break that down, right, you can break this down into content formats as well, right, with your memes, your carousels, or your reels. So I know that everyone here has arrived at this presentation because they know that they need to probably start using reels, or they've started to use reels, right? Our product photos or single photos are not really cutting it anymore, right? They're not maybe getting the impact that you want them to have. And right, reels are going to get seen by more people rather than just your stagnant product photos or your static product photos. I also am a firm believer in memes and carousel posts. Posts are a great way to educate your audience, right? With infographics. And memes are still gold. I really believe in the power of memes as well. So implementing these 3 product types can be really valuable. Memes, especially because you can tap into the feelings, the emotions of your customer, right? It's a really good way to meet your customer where they are in their feelings, in their pain points. Okay, anyways, so educate, entertain, inspire. So ways to reuse your single-use containers. Educate, a reel about reusing your candles as pen holders, right? Inspire, a reel about no waste. Entertain, a reel about a person living amongst all their single-use plastics. Okay, so this is my worksheet that I'm gonna give you guys the link to. But here's an example for a product-based business. I wanted to sort of spell it out for you all so you could see, right? So here's your pillar, environmental activism. You have your topic, recycling, your content, 3 recycling myths, way to reuse single-use packaging, extend your food shelf life, etc. And then each of these content pieces can break down into education, inspire, entertain. Okay. And then a service-based example. I did see that we have some biz coaches on this call. So content pillar 1, super basic, right? Marketing, email marketing, tips for email marketing, how to grow your list, what programs to use. And then each pieces of these content will educate, inspire, entertain. Okay. So I have this worksheet for you. I'm going to put this in the chat right now. And I believe this will also get sent a lot around to you all, or already has. So this is our 120 days of content. I put that in the chat, and yeah, that will give you the worksheet sent right to your inbox. And I really like this worksheet, you guys. It really helps you clarify your mission, right? Bring cohesion into your brand and give you 120 days of content. So we love it. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about content flow as well. So how many of you are on TikTok? Go ahead and put in the chat if you're on TikTok also. It's time to get on TikTok, y'all. It really is. I started taking TikTok seriously in like September. And in 6 weeks, I gained 5,000 followers. So that's huge, right? Way faster than my Instagram, okay? The cool thing about TikTok is that your video content is being pushed out to new people more so than Instagram, right? Instagram is being pushed out to a percentage of your followers and then potentially more people. So ideally we have a TikTok and an Instagram running. Maybe the audience on both platforms are a little bit different. I've noticed that mine are a little bit different. I have a lot more beginning makers on my TikTok than our Instagram. People who've never done a craft fair, just getting started. Whereas my personal account and GGC on Instagram, they're a little bit more familiar with the craft fair scene, and they're more interested in sort of next steps, like selling their work online, email marketing, brand partnerships, etc. So it's just interesting, and you want to make sure that you're using this all as an experiment, right? It's allowed to be fun, A, and B, you're sort of taking notes, whether in some piece of paper, on a document, or taking notes in your head and just learning from what content is performing well, right? So the thing is, a lot of these trends, right, start in TikTok. So it is good to start in TikTok. I think some people will also argue that you should just use reel sounds on Instagram. I think ideally a mix. So you want to do some trends on TikTok. And it's harder to go from Instagram to post it on TikTok because when you save it, right, the sound doesn't stay attached. But when you do it in TikTok, the sound stays attached, and right, you don't want the watermarks. You're not going to download it after you post it. Instead, you're going to screen record. Okay. And then you're going to save that somewhere like in your Dropbox or whatever, or on your computer. And then you can move that to Instagram or to Planoly first and then Instagram, right? Anyways, so I also like doing like original content. So let's say I'm just talking at the screen or, you know, piecing together some stuff with just music. I really like CapCut to edit. It's free and it's really the most comprehensive, easy to use app that I found. So again, maybe starting in TikTok so you can transfer to Planoly to Instagram. Step one, schedule a filming day. So Wednesday are my content days, except today because I'm talking to you all. And I spend that whole Wednesday morning making content. I don't like to have a whole other lot of to-do lists going on too, because then I get stressed and then it cuts into like my energy moving forward, my content day. So schedule a filming day. Try to not have any other tasks if you can. I know everyone's different. You know, even if you have a 9 to 5, right? Scheduling those couple hours after work for your content. When I'm scrolling, I'm collecting trending audios, right? I'm just saving with the little flag icon and just saving it so that I can revisit it on my content day and make my content. I like Asana to write down my ideas, but even just your like note app on your phone or your computer works really well. This is nice, especially if you're working with a team, because then I can just move my video into here and then my team can collect it. Okay, you could also use that for Planoly, but sometimes you want to like have them add text or like change it, right? So this is a good communicator with your team. It's a good communicator with yourself too, because then I can just write all of these sounds down and then make the video and move it into here. You know, a regular spreadsheet could work as well. But I like to have, my rule of thumb is if I come up with any ideas, like anytime, I write it down immediately. So if I come up with an idea, like even late at night, I like grab my phone and I write it down so I don't forget the next day. Okay, so I want to talk about Planoly too, but here's your content flow, right? You're uploading your content to Planoly. I make my reel covers on Canva, right? To have my cohesive brand messaging on my feed. I'm gathering my hashtags and then I'm scheduling for reminders to my phone. So I'm going to show you guys how I use Planoly. I'll screen share my Planoly in a second, but so you want to upload new video content directly. You can drag from your desktop, your covers, and then once you post, you go back in and add missing covers. So I'm going to stop my share and pull up my Planoly. 1 second. I'm on Instagram too. Okay, so Planoly. Okay, so this is, so when I come to my Planoly on my phone or my desktop, I'm a desktop girl. I like to use my desktop as much as possible for this. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that it's updated, right? So my photos pull right into Planoly, right, with the comments and the engagement right there. But if I posted a reel, it doesn't auto-populate in Planoly. So I'm gonna go ahead and do new post, import missing grid posts, right? Then I'm gonna go pull up my Instagram. And this is my last reel. So I wanna make sure it's included so I can make sure it looks all pretty, right, with Planoly, and so it's updated. So I'm gonna paste my Instagram link there, press continue. And then I make sure I move it to the right spot. That's the right spot. There's my updated grid. Perfect. So now it's all updated. So you do want to do that. You can do that every time you repost, or like, you know, once a week, whatever makes sense. And then I'm just going to add a new post. A couple things. So this is how I use Planoly. The proper way, right, is to do your new post, add in a video. I'm dragging in my video. This is all ready to go, right? Because this was copied from TikTok. Okay, this was screen recorded on TikTok. So it has all my text on it. So it's ready to go. It has the music attached to it too, right? Because it's on TikTok. And then I'm going to go ahead, once it uploads, pull my reel cover into it. I think because I'm on Zoom and sharing my screen, it's going a little slower. And then I move my reel cover into it as well. And then I can type my caption, I can schedule the reminder, and then it'll download to my phone. And then I post on Instagram. Okay, so the reel cover will download and the video. I'm gonna just, oh, there it goes. So upload as reel, right? Continue, add your cover photo. The other way I use this, I want to tell you guys just how, the other way I use it too. So it's good. Oh, I did something wrong. I didn't upload it as a cover. But anyways, you guys get the point. But another way I use this, because if I'm using reels on Instagram and I have all my drafts, right? And like text is edited, everything's in Instagram. I'm not going to want to like put that into Planoly again without the music, right? It's good to go on drafts. So I go ahead and keep it in my drafts, and I just sometimes keep my reel covers in here. I keep just my reel covers in here. There we go. And then I write my caption in here. And then on my phone, I can save this. I can copy and paste, right, my caption. And then I can just use my video in my drafts. So there's that. And then yeah, I think we'll get to questions after Danielle. But I want to give you guys a little conclusion about who I am and what I do. So, right, make sure you follow me on Girl Gang Craft and Phoebe Sherman. I have different content there, right? Girl Gang Craft, we're talking about our craft fairs and all our offerings. Phoebe Sherman is my personal life and also a lot of Reels tips. So if you're interested in Reels tips, I'm doing a lot of Reels tips, transitions, trending stuff, trending sounds, etc. on my personal account. My TikTok is a lot of craft fair stuff and a lot of what it's like to be an entrepreneur. So a lot of like pain points and personal stuff. I did send over the content worksheet. So go ahead and make sure that you grab that for yourself. It's a digital worksheet, so you can do it on Canva, but you can also download it and just print it out as well. There's a printable version. So if you like pen to paper, that's really key. And then I am coming up with this course, our Reels and TikTok course. So I'm going to go ahead and put that into the chat as well. This is the wait list. Yeah, so I'll put the wait list, and let's do the content worksheet again, 120 days of content. You can also message me on Instagram if you didn't get this, if you want it again. Overwhelmed and inspired. You know, here's one concluding thing. I want to encourage you to take one step at a time, right? So my own personal journey with this is I want to be a very polished business, you know, etc. I'm looking at my competitors who are 5 years, 10 years down the line. And I want you to have gratitude for where you are now, be proud of yourself for where you are now, and take just one step at a time. You don't have to have all your email marketing together. You don't have to have all your funnels, blah, 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 blah. One thing at a time. Start with a video, start attracting your clientele, and be kind to yourself. Okay, and then we have Danielle hopping in here. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Phoebe. So much good stuff in here about content pillars and how to create like a content flow. I love that. We use that at Planoly as well on the social side. I know that some people wanted to kind of like had a lot of questions about Reels Planner. So I'm just going to hop in really quick, show you one more time and answer some questions while I do it. So let me share my screen. Okay, so I'm hoping you guys can all see the Reels Planner, Planoly web dashboard. Basically, when you log into Planoly, this is what you're going to see. When you want to upload a reel, you are going to click New Post. Then you're going to select the source. So what's great is you can upload directly from Canva. You can upload from Google Drive, Dropbox, wherever. Mine is on my computer, so I'm going to go ahead and select that. Select the reel. Open it. Once it loads, I'm going to have an option, as Phoebe showed, to add a cover, which is really great. So I'm going to upload it as a reel, hit continue, and then I'm going to upload my cover, which is also from my computer. Again, you can upload from Canva, Dropbox, wherever you keep your files. Let's just use this one. Okay, and then I'm going to upload it. So now you see it's in my grid. It has this little Reels icon right here to show that it's a reel. And then I can move it around and plan it and schedule it visually in my grid, which is one of the benefits of our Reels planner. It allows you to kind of like visually plan, but you can also schedule. So while it is true that we unfortunately cannot auto post from Planoly into Instagram with Reels because of an Instagram limitation on their end, not on ours, you can schedule a reminder notification. So you will have to manually post, but you can schedule in advance, which is amazing. So you can kind of set it, forget it, and then when it's time to post, you'll either get an email or a push notification on your phone. So you can type in your caption, you can choose your scheduled date, schedule time, and as it says right here, Instagram does not support Reels for auto posts, so unfortunately we cannot do that, but you will still get a reminder. And this is how we do Reels Planner. So I hope that was helpful. I know it is kind of a bummer that we can't auto post, but Reels Planner has really like saved me and our social team. It's so helpful to be able to visually see all of your content in your grid and then be able to just schedule that notification to post instead of manually posting it through Instagram. This way you can also content batch, keep your captions in there and then it will paste over. So that's just a little bit of a deeper dive into Reels Planner. Reels Planner is also available on mobile. So if you're on the go, you can use it on the mobile app. And it is a paid feature at this moment in time. So any paid plans have access to Reels Planner. Otherwise, you can manually publish from Instagram and then add those missing reels back into your grid, like Phoebe showed. So I hope that helps clear some things up. And now we can move into the Q&A portion. Quick reminder, in the Q&A box, if you go to the bottom of your screen and click on the Q&A, there are answered questions that we've already answered. So the links to Phoebe, her Instagram, Girl Gang Craft Instagram, the worksheet, all that's in there. So you guys can access those links right through the Q&A box. But as well, those will also be available in the email that is going to be sent after this workshop. All right. Phoebe, are you ready to take some questions?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple questions. So Laura Jane has a question about, is it important to have a cover on your reels? And I think this is a great question. And I think it's also a little like philosophical and I want to hop into it because TikTok is raw, right? That's sort of one of the joys of TikTok. You don't need a lot of equipment. People are unpolished. People don't have makeup on, blah, 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 blah. And I think content is trending towards that, especially for Gen Z. With Instagram, I think Instagram is also getting less perfect, right? We're seeing less and less of the Instagram aesthetic. People are a little bit more themselves. And I think it's ultimately a really beautiful thing. As artists and as visual people, we might still like our beautiful aesthetic. And so you get the opportunity to decide if you want to go like shiny, pretty aesthetic or a little bit more raw or sort of do a combination. So there are lots of people who don't do a real cover and they just have it sort of raw. There are people who don't do a real cover and then like pull in their brand colors for text, right? And that can be a really cool way to just have your face and your text a little bit more raw. And then some people do a combination, right? Your real cover and your face. What I find is important if you are holding yourself up as an expert in your niche is to make sure whether you're having like the proper real covers or like, text over your face or whatever, or even just your product, you want to make sure that people can find that video and understand what you're about. So for me as a service-based business, I have text, either on my face as a real cover or like a prettier one on Canva. And I want it to be pertinent to my community. So I also try to make it not too much about myself unless it's like a really storytelling video, but I try to make it be accessible to what someone coming to my page is looking for. So I hope that helps. I think it's ultimately a personal decision about real covers. Danielle, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. It's also kind of goes with another question that someone popped in here, which was, should you leave your reels in your feed, in your grid, or should you just keep them into your reels library? And I think, honestly, that's kind of in line with Phoebe, what you said. It's kind of like up to you. If you want some like variety in your grid, in your feed, I would say you can keep them in there, no problem. People typically, in my experience, when they're looking up a brand or when they're visiting your feed, they will go through your feed first. I think it's just the most natural that if they're scrolling, your reels will just kind of pop up. Also, if you're in the feed and you're scrolling, you won't see a reels cover. So it's really more for aesthetic purposes, like Phoebe already said. That being said, if you want your grid to be a little bit cleaner, you can keep them only in your reels feed, in your reels tab. But I think for visibility purposes, we like to keep our reels in our grid. I hope that helps a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Cool. Okay, let's see. Are there any other questions that are standing out to you, Phoebe, that you want to answer? We got quite a few in here.
Yeah, so I want to talk a little bit about just the recording from TikTok, because I think that's important. So there's 2 ways to do this, right? Or there's technically 3 ways. So once you post on TikTok, you can download, okay? And that will give you the TikTok watermark, okay? There is a glitch right now, and I don't know if they will find it or change it or whatever, but currently, at least for a lot of people, you can start to, once you posted the TikTok, you can start to download it, exit out of the app, and come back in the app, and somehow it magically downloads without a watermark. So I would encourage you all to try and see if that works for you. Otherwise, what I make sure I do is before I post everything, I just like try to be as organized as possible. Especially if you're working with a team or just yourself, really, you want to make sure all of your content is like on a Dropbox or something. And I like to actually download with text and without. So I have the option to keep the same video, like maybe 6 months from now, but just like change the text over it, right? We're trying to do as little work as possible and make as much of an impact, right? That's the goal here. That's my goal for you. So, but you can also screen record. So when you go to write your caption on TikTok, that's the screen that you go ahead and drag down from your iPhone. I don't know what it is on Android, I'm sorry, but you drag down, you press your record. And I like to record it 2 times in case I miss something, because sometimes it like cuts off the front. So I like plan on recording it 2 times through, and then I go back and edit it. And then I can pull that into Planoly because it's ready to go, right? Or your drafts on Instagram. So.
Amazing. Someone said, is a Reels cover a picture or short video? Really quick, a Reels cover is a photo. So when it's in your feed, it can be a still, it can be something you design, but like when you're on your actual feed, it will look like a static post until you click into it and watch it, and then the video will start. Hope that clears that up.
I got one.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry to interrupt. Someone said something about like there are some apps to download without the watermark. And I think that works for original content. But sometimes they really mess up the sound sync. So if you're like lip syncing to a sound, often it's really like messed up. And so I do think the screen recording is much better. I tried to do that for a long time and all my content got messed up. So something to think about.
Yes. Yeah. There's risk involved with using, I feel like those sort of programs, but they do work for some people. So I also wanted to talk about trending audio because we're getting a lot of questions about that. For trending audio, it is tricky because if you have a business account on Instagram, you have like some more like limited options based on copyright. So what we like to do, and Phoebe, chime in if you have like tricks for yourself, but how we find trending audio is we will find users who upload original audio, and we'll save that audio. So while you're scrolling through Reels, which I think is just the best way to find trending audio, because the algorithm is showing you like what's trending right now, what's popular, what's being created and put out there. So I like to just scroll through my Reels feed, And if I find an audio that I think could work for us or that I like, I will click on the actual audio and then I'll save it. That will save it to your Instagram Reels library, and then you can use that audio. Most audio trends start on TikTok. So if you're on TikTok and you find audios that you like that you haven't seen on Reels yet, it's a great idea to try and like bring it over and see if it gets trending. Instagram also will show you what's trending when you're in the Reels scrolling through. If there's a little arrow next to the audio, that means that audio is currently trending. So that's kind of how we do it on my social team. But Phoebe, do you have any other comments about trending audio or how you find it?
Yeah, I kind of feel like trending is like in the eye of the beholder. And also like trending might mean everyone's using it. So it might actually mean it's oversaturated. So I think it's hard. I think it's hard to like find like the perfect medium, right? And like also that could drive you crazy. So if you like a sound and you can match it to your niche, I say just go for it. I think it's less important to make sure it's trending. And I think like sometimes, again, like it gets saturated. There are a lot of people who are really doing trend watches, right? So especially on TikTok, one of my favorites is Managed by Sky. I'll write that here. She does a lot of like teaching you how to do the transitions and catching audio as it's starting to pop off. There's also people who have like memberships to cool like spreadsheets that you can sort of access, and it's like maybe $7 a month, and like they do all of the sort of preliminary work for you, so you can like hop around and find that. But ultimately I think if you find a sound and you like it and you figure out how to make it work for your business, go for it.
Amazing. I love that. Let's see, what else have we got here? Oh, I found this one. Let's see. Do you make different content targeted to Instagram versus TikTok, and how do you treat those two audiences differently? I think this is a great question. Personally, for us, we do treat them differently. Instagram's audience tends to be a bit more mature, a little bit, millennial audience. TikTok tends to be really, really focused on Gen Z. So that's why a lot of the more experimental, like silly, cheeky trends start on TikTok. We kind of view it as more of like a way that you can be kind of more raw, more fun, test some things. And if it works, you can carry that over into Reels. And if it doesn't, it's TikTok. So that's kind of like how we treat it. We post more like fun, kind of like rougher around the edges, scrappier content on TikTok. And then our Reels tend to be a tiny bit more polished. But I think that will be changing as more Gen Zers kind of like filter into Instagram. Phoebe, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I find that my audiences are super different. Super different in both places. And I'm also working with like 2 Instagram accounts and just 1 TikTok. So that's sort of interesting as well, because I think TikTok, they want to follow the founders instead of the company. So I actually tried to do a TikTok as Girl Gang Craft initially, and then ended up switching it to sort of more personal account. But I talk about very different things on both accounts because I have just watched and seen what works. And I think you want to figure out a way to stand out. So there's a lot of people that say niche down, and take that with a grain of salt. I think do what works for you, but I also think do what makes you stand out. And I think at least in my niche, this is just all I know. I know a lot of other things, but I also mostly know what works for me. So that's all I can really speak on. And there's not a lot of craft fair curators on either platform. So that's been something I've been leaning into, whereas there's a lot of people who teach you how to do Reels and teach you how to do social media. So I have found that I stand out more in that category. And yeah, I think the most important thing is try to have fun, really. And also just keep an eye out on what works. Like sometimes the videos that take 2 seconds that I think are so silly, like blow up on TikTok. and then they do not work on Instagram too. So it's really sort of like allowing it all to be an experiment and just sort of seeing what works for you on both platforms. And then I know we didn't talk about the other two platforms, but I'm going to just come back to that really quickly. You know, there is YouTube Shorts. I'm super not familiar with YouTube Shorts. We use YouTube just for our podcast video episodes, but it's something to explore. And Pinterest. Pinterest is a really great place to literally just repost your reels and TikToks. Like just put them up there, takes 2 extra seconds. People get a lot of traffic from Pinterest. You make sure it like links back to whatever you're offering. Maybe a freebie is a great thing to offer on Pinterest. And if you don't know what a freebie is, that is something that you're exchanging for an email address. So my actually 120 days of content that I just gave you all is a freebie for you all to put you in our little infrastructure world. And we actually have a class on freebies and email marketing if that's something you're interested in. But people love free things and they want to make sure that they get to know you first, right? So if you put up a reel on Pinterest with a freebie, they get sort of pulled into your world with the opportunity to convert down the line, right?
Amazing. Yes, absolutely. And then I just wanted to put in one more thing. We're almost at time. But we've been talking a lot about trending audio and trends. And I just want to remind everyone that what works for some people might not work for you. And that's okay. Like Phoebe said, it's a testing ground. It's an experiment. Social media is constantly changing. So just make sure that the trends that you jump on, they feel authentic to you and they make sense for you and for your brand. You don't have to jump on trends just to jump on them. And in fact, I think the amazing part about TikTok and about Reels is that this sort of scrappier, more authentic, raw and real type of content is what people are really connecting to now. So it doesn't have to be super curated all the time. You don't have to jump on every single trend. Like authenticity is key. So do what works for you. But thank you, everyone. We are almost done. That's a wrap on this series for Planoly Presents Reels Resolutions. We really hope you've enjoyed this series and all the amazing speakers we've had. Phoebe, thank you so much for hosting today's workshop. You provided some amazing insights and we are so grateful to have had you. We love working with you. You guys have probably seen Phoebe on our feed. She is quite frequently a guest and a good friend of Planoly. So thank you very much. If anyone's interested in 1 free month of Planoly, like we said in the beginning, there is a code Reels Resolutions that you can pop in when you sign up. So feel free to try us out. And please follow Phoebe, Girl Gang Craft, and Planoly on Instagram for more social strategy tips. Phoebe, do you have any last closing words?
No, thank you so much, Planoly. Planoly has been such an amazing tool for my business, and it's really cool to be sort of a part of the community. And Planoly has really sort of hopped on board their own Reels train as well. So I really encourage you to, if you're not already following them, which I'm sure you are, they have some great tips there as well. And I hope you follow me. Again, Phoebe Sherman, Girl Gang Craft, and you'll have that worksheet sent around to you again as well. Or just DM me anytime, y'all. Seriously, I'm open to questions. You can work with me one-on-one. We have lots of great classes. If you're in Bay Area, California, or Salem, Massachusetts, we have a craft fair coming up. So excited to meet you online or in person.
Amazing. Just a reminder, y'all, this is going to be sent to your inboxes, available on YouTube, on our Planoly YouTube, and also on our website. So keep an eye out for the recording, all of the links, and everything you'll need. And thank you, everyone, for joining. Have a great week.
Bye, everyone.